Yes, my dear students, today we are going to start with the chapter number 3, that is Taro's Reward. Very nice story, and this story is about a thoughtful and loving son. If we read the starter, this is a story about a thoughtful and loving son. He works hard to fulfill his parents' wishes and gets some unexpected help. Now, this thoughtful and loving son, because the story is about the main character, that is Taro, and he is a thoughtful son. Now, what is a thoughtful? Thoughtful is to show consideration for the needs of others, to think about his parents or the other people. Fine. So let's start with the story. A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. Now the story is about a woodcutter, a young boy, a woodcutter, and he worked hard for his parents. He used to chop the woods day and night so that he can provide all the facilities. You know, our parents, they work hard for us to provide all facilities to the children. And the same way, when they are old, we are supposed to. Yes, dear children. So we are going to read a very nice story about a young woodcutter named Taro. Means the name of this young woodcutter, the young boy is Taro, who lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Now he is a woodcutter, so he earned his livings by chopping the woods in the forest. Now he worked very hard. He earned very little money. No doubt he worked very hard, but he couldn't earn, means he was not satisfied that he was able to provide all the facilities to his parents. This made him sad. So he was not happy. He was not satisfied whatever he was doing for his parents. For he was thoughtful son. Thoughtful, who was too much concerned about the needs of his parents, about the facilities he was providing to his parents. He wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. Wanted to work harder. One evening, when Taro and his parents were sitting in the corner of their hut, a strong wind began to blow. It was a fine day, strong wind was blowing. It whistled through the cracks of the hut, and everyone felt very cold. Now, you need to consider that it was winter, and whistled through means the wind was crossing through the cracks. It was entering the hut through the cracks of the huts, and whistle through means creating noise, and while entering this hut it was creating noise. This is whistled through. Whistle is used as a verb here, and following this proposition through. This is phrasal verb. Suddenly Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sake. It would warm me and do my old heart good. Now see, now this thoughtful person, this thoughtful boy, when he heard the wish of his father, he was feeling cold. And what he wished? He wished, I had a cup of sake. Now sake, what is sake? Sake is the liquor. It is a kind of a drink which gives warmth to the person who drink it. It is a drink in Japan. It is a Japanese drink. I wish I had a cup of sake. It would warm me and do my old heart good. Means I would feel good if I am able to drink a cup of sake. This made Taro sadder than ever. Now Taro, he feels sad. For the heartwarming drink called sake was very expensive. Now when he heard to the wish of his father's wish, he just became sad. He felt sad. that he was not able to provide this ring to his old parents. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. He started thinking how he could earn more money so that he can provide this ring to his father. How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. Now what he decided that I will work more harder than before so that I can earn more money. Next morning, Taro jumped out of the bed earlier than usual. Now, what we usually do when we want to earn more, he just started to get up earlier. He increased the walking hours than usual and made his way to the forest. And he started to go to the forest. He chopped and cut and chopped and cut as the sun climbed. Climbed means rise. And when the sun rose, he had done harder than before. And soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. He was feeling, in winter, even when we work hard, when we do some physical work, and we feel warm. So he also started feeling warm, and he just take off means put off, put on and put off. He take off his jacket. His mouth was dry and his face was wet with sweat. So you can imagine as summer is going on, we have the same feeling when we walk a little in this weather. But in winter, we need to work harder. We need to do a lot of physical work. Then we can have this feeling which we are having these in summer days. So his mouth was dry. He was feeling thirsty and his face was wet with sweat. Why it was wet with sweat? Because he has chopped a lot of wood. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as I. See how sincere that boy is, how much he loved his parents that he thought of at that moment also. He was feeling that his father could have felt this warmth. And with that, he began to chop even faster. And again, when he thought of his parents, he thought of his father, he started chopping faster. Thinking of extra money he must earn to buy the sake to warm the old man's bones. Now, it means that this to warm the old man's bones means providing warmth to the old man. Then suddenly, Taro stopped chopping. What was that sound? Suddenly, what happened? He heard the sound nearby. What was that sound he heard? Could it possibly be rushing water? As he was thirsty, you see, when we are hungry, we start thinking of food. So he was thirsty and he felt that he heard the sound of water or rushing water. Rushing water, means falling from some kind of the waterfall. So it was the rushing water. Now, could it possibly be rushing water? Rushing water means waterfall. You can see in the picture, beta, that this is a waterfall. Taro could not, when water falls from a water body downward, that is the rushing down. Taro could not remember ever seeing or hearing a rushing stream in that part of the forest. Now he had never, if he started thinking, he had never heard of any rushing water, rushing stream in this area, in this part of the forest. He was thirsty. The axe dropped out of his hands and he ran in the direction of the sound. Now, as he was thirsty, he heard the sound of the rushing water. He just came to know, he understood that some water body, some kind of waterfall is nearby. And he thought of drinking water. He dropped his axe and he ran in the direction of the sound. Now, what did he see? Taro saw a beautiful little waterfall hidden behind a rock. Now he saw a waterfall behind a rock. Kneeling at a place where the water flowed quietly, he cupped a little in his hands and put it to his lips. Now see, what did he do? When we don't have any glass or we don't have any tumbler with us. So how we drink water, if you remember, we just cup, we make a cup with our palms. What did he do? When he saw the water, he kneeling at a place. Kneeling means bending on the knees. He bent on the knees and just cupped a little in his hands. Cupped a little means he made a cup with the help of his hands or palms and put it to his lips. He started drinking that water. Was it water or was it sake? Means when he tasted the water, he drank that water, it tasted like sake, which his father aspired for, desired for, wished for. He tasted it again and again, and always it was a delicious sake instead of cold water. He thought that he was mistaken or he was just having that taste of sake because he was thinking of sake. Sometimes when we are very thirsty, the water seems very tasty to us. So he tasted it again and again, and always it was delicious sake instead of cold water. He was sure that it was sake, not water. Now Taro quickly filled the pitcher. He was having a pitcher. You can see this utensil he is having hanged over on her sides to taking water to the forest. Now Taro quickly filled the pitcher he had with him and hurried home. He filled this picture. Seen in the, you can see in this picture, it is the PITCHER. Picture is it is a pot made of clay. He had with him and hurried home. He filled this pitcher with that water and ran to home. The old man was delighted with the sake. And when he offered this water, this sake to his father, he was very happy. After drinking this sake, after only one swallow of the liquid, he stopped shivering and did a little dance in the middle of the floor. Means when he take a little of that, even one swallow, जिसे हम हिंदी में एक बूंद बोलते हैं ना, he just take a sip of this. We can say sip is a little less quantity and swallow is a big quantity. He swallowed this liquid. He stopped shivering, which was due to the cold weather. Means he got energy and did a little dance. He was so delighted, he was so happy that he started dancing in the middle of the floor. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped for a visit, and a neighbor visited them in the afternoon. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sake. And you know, as a hospitality, when some guest comes to our home, visit us, then we usually offer them according to the weather. And we usually offer them drinks. So his father, he politely offered her that cup of that water that was sake. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. As they were poor people, he was so delighted. She was also delighted. She was also happily that he drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of magic waterfall. And this Taro was so innocent that he told, means she might have asked him from where he brought this. It is very expensive, very costly, how they got it. This innocent Taro, he told her the whole story of the magic waterfall. Thanking them for the delicious drink, she left in a hurry, and hurriedly she left the place when she came to know the story. By the nightfall, till night, she had spread the story throughout the whole village. Spread the story means telling every off and on to every person. She told the story to all villagers. That evening there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Now what happens? That evening there was a long procession of visitors. Procession means a long line. There was a huge number of people were coming to this woodcutter's house. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sake. In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. And that innocent Taro, he offered without any hesitation, he offered this drink to all villagers until within an hour that picture was empty. Next morning, Taro started for work even earlier than the morning before. And today again, he just woke up earlier than the previous morning. He carried with him the largest picture he owned. He took that picture. He took the largest picture. The largest picture he was having. He owned means he had. For he intended first of all to go to the waterfall because he thought of intended means he was having the intention. He was thinking. He thought that he will first go to the waterfall. When he reached it, he found to his great surprise all his neighbors there. As he had told the story to all the villagers, he saw a huge line, means all the villagers were there before him. They were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could find to hold the magic sake. And they all were having pictures with them. Then one villager knelt and held his mouth under the waterfall to drink. One villager knelt, means bent on his knees, and bending on his knees, he drank a little water from the waterfall. He drank again and again, then shouted angrily. But what did he say? Water, nothing but water. Others also cried that there was no sake, only cold water. Now what happened? He felt when he drank the water, it tasted water only. It was simply water. He started shouting, nothing but water. Others also tried, but there was no sake, only cold water. And when others also they tried, it was simple water. We have been tricked, shouted the villagers. Where is Taro? Let us drown him in the waterfall. But Taro had been wise enough to slip behind a rock. Now what happened? They started shouting. We have been tricked. What did they say? They said that they have been cheated, they have been deceived, they have been tricked by Taro. Now Taro was wise enough. When he watched this scene, when he found that he was in problem, he just he slipped behind a big rock. When he saw how things were going, he was nowhere to be found. And when the villagers, they tried to search for him because they wanted to ask him why he befooled them, why did he told them this lie, muttering their anger and disappointment. All the villagers left the place one by one. They left the place and they were all sad, disappointed, and muttering their anger means speaking unclearly, means they were talking to each other, discussing this situation. Displeased, they left the place. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered, was the sake a drink? Once more, he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. He again had a sip of this water from the waterfall. It was same fine sake. To the thoughtful son, that's waterfall, magic waterfall. See, it is magic waterfall which gave delicious sake to Taro, but simple water to the all greedy villagers. To everyone else, it gave only cold water. So, beta, it is very important part of the chapter. Here you come to know that this person, this Taro, he was awarded with this sake from this magical waterfall, but all got only water from the waterfall. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. Now this story reached to the Emperor of Japan. He came to know about this story. He sent for the young woodcutter. Sent for means he called for. He called this woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold. This is the reward. When this emperor, he came to know this whole story. For having been so good and kind. Why he was rewarded? He was rewarded for being good, kind to the villagers and thoughtful and loving to his parents. He was good and kind because he told everything simply to the villagers. He offered them sake. He didn't hide that he should only possess this sake. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. Named after means beta, the most beautiful fountain of the city was given the name Taro. Named after, you should remember this word. Named after Taro means the waterfall was given the name of Taro. This said the emperor was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. Why did this emperor he awarded this? Why? Because he wanted all the children of his country to learn from Taro, to encourage the children to be obedient, to honor their parents, to obey their parents, to love their parents, and help others selflessly without any selfish motive. So it is a nice story we have read and we'll discuss